Stop cutting your mango tree like a bush. You are killing your harvest before it even starts. Most gardeners think pruning is about making the tree look pretty, but if you want fruit, you need to stop thinking like a landscaper and start thinking like a farmer. If you have been hacking away at branches without a plan, you are likely removing the very wood that holds next year's bananas-sized mangoes. It is time to fix this. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We are building a community of growers who actually get results, and I do not want you to miss the advanced tips coming later in this video that separate the amateurs from the pros. Let me tell you about a tree I worked on just 2 years ago. It was a 10-year-old mango tree that had not produced a single decent fruit in 3 seasons. The owner was frustrated. He thought the soil was bad. He thought the weather was wrong. He even thought the tree was diseased. But when I looked at it, I saw a dense, dark jungle of leaves with no sunlight reaching the center. The tree was exhausted. It was spending all its energy trying to keep thousands of tiny, weak branches alive instead of pushing that energy into big, sweet fruit. We did one major pruning session. We opened up the center. We cut back the height. And guess what happened? The next season, that same tree produced over 200 pounds of premium fruit. The leaves turned a deeper green. The blooms were heavier. The difference was not magic. It was physics and biology working together because we finally let the tree breathe. Now, I know exactly how you feel right now. You look at your mango tree and it feels overwhelming. Maybe it is getting too tall and you cannot reach the fruit. Maybe the branches are so thick that birds and pests are hiding in there, ruining what little fruit you do get. Or perhaps you are afraid to cut anything because you heard that if you prune too hard, the tree will die. So you do nothing. You let it grow wild, and every year you get fewer and smaller mangoes. You watch your neighbors pull in basket after basket of golden fruit, while you pick 3 or 4 small ones from the very top of the tree. It is frustrating. You put in the work, you water it, you fertilize it, but the tree just does not seem to care. You feel like you are fighting a losing battle against nature. But here is the truth. The tree is not fighting you. It is just confused. It does not know what you want from it. Without your guidance, a mango tree's only goal is to survive and spread its seeds as high as possible. It does not care about your taste buds. It cares about height. And that is the problem. Here is what actually happens inside the tree when you let it grow wild. Mango trees are naturally vigorous. They want to grow up and out. When they do this unchecked, the center of the tree becomes a dark, damp cave. Sunlight cannot get in. Air cannot move through. This creates the perfect home for fungus and pests. But more importantly, the tree stops producing fruiting wood. Fruit needs sun to develop sugar. If a branch is in the shade, it will not flower well. If it does flower, the fruit will be sour and small. The root cause of your low yield is not bad soil or bad luck. It is poor light penetration and wasted energy. The tree is spending its battery power on growing leaves that do not contribute to fruit production. It is like having a factory where half the workers are sitting in the dark doing nothing, but you still have to pay them. Pruning is simply firing the lazy workers and giving the hard workers more resources. It is that simple. You are redirecting the tree's energy from useless growth to valuable fruit. So, how do we fix this? We are going to walk through a step-by-step solution that works for almost any mango variety, whether you are in Florida, California, Texas, or a tropical backyard. This method is universal because it follows the natural biology of the tree. You do not need expensive tools. You just need a sharp pair of hand pruners, a good lopper for thicker branches, and a clear mind. Let us start with the timing. This is crucial. You must prune your mango tree right after you harvest the fruit. In most American growing zones, this is late summer or early fall. Do not prune in the winter. Do not prune in the spring when the tree is trying to bloom. If you prune in the spring, you cut off the flowers. If you prune in the winter, you expose fresh cuts to cold damage. Post-harvest pruning gives the tree months to heal and grow new, strong wood before the next flowering season. Think of it as a reset button. Once you have your timing right, grab your tools. Make sure they are clean. Wipe them with alcohol if you can. This prevents spreading disease from one branch to another. The first step is the safety and access cut. Look at your tree. Identify any branches that are broken, dead, or rubbing against each other. Cut those first. Dead wood is a waste of space. Rubbing branches create wounds that invite infection. Remove them cleanly. Cut back to the main trunk or a larger lateral branch. Do not leave a stub. A stub will rot. Next, look for any branches that are growing straight down toward the ground. These are weak. They will never hold heavy fruit. They just block light for the branches above them. Cut them off. Now, stand back and look at the shape of the tree. Your goal is to create an open center. Imagine the tree is like a wine glass or a vase. You want the middle to be open, so sunlight can pour right into the heart of the tree. This is called the open center system. It is the secret to high yields. Most people keep the center full of leaves because it looks lush, but lush does not mean productive. You need to be brave here. Identify the main vertical shoots in the center of the tree that are reaching for the sky. These are often called water sprouts. They grow fast, but they are soft and rarely fruit well. Select the strongest 3 or 4 main scaffolds. These are the primary arms of your tree. Everything else in the center that is competing with these main arms needs to go. Cut them out. Yes, it will look bare. Yes, it will feel like you are hurting the tree, but you are not. You are giving the remaining branches room to expand. Now, let us talk about height control. This is the #1 complaint I hear. The tree is too tall. If your tree is 20 feet tall, you cannot manage it. You cannot spray it for pests. You cannot harvest the fruit without a ladder, which is dangerous. We need to bring the height down. Find the highest point of the tree. Choose a spot that is comfortable for you to reach, usually around 8 to 10 feet. Look for a strong side branch pointing outward at that height. Cut the main trunk just above that side branch. This is called a drop crotch cut. By doing this, you force the tree to grow outward from that side branch instead of upward. The side branch becomes the new leader. This keeps the tree wide and low rather than tall and narrow. A wide tree catches more sun. A low tree is easier to manage. Repeat this for any other vertical leaders that are getting too tall. Always cut to an outward-facing branch. Never cut to a branch that is pointing inward, or you will just create more congestion in the center. Remember, every cut you make tells the tree where to grow next. If you cut to an inward branch, the new growth will go inward, and you will be back to square one next year. Always choose outward. Next, we focus on thinning the canopy. Even after you open the center, the outer edges might still be too thick. You want sunlight to dapple through the leaves, not be blocked completely. Walk around the tree. Look for clusters of branches that are growing parallel to each other. You do not need 2 branches doing the same job. Keep the stronger one and remove the weaker one. This is called thinning. It is different from heading back, which just shortens a branch. Thinning removes the entire branch. This improves air circulation. Good airflow dries out the leaves after rain, which prevents powdery mildew and anthracnose, 2 common mango diseases. If your leaves stay wet for days, you will lose your crop to fungus. Thinning keeps the leaves dry. Also, look for long, spindly branches that have not produced fruit in a long time. These are old and tired. Cut them back significantly to encourage new, vigorous growth. New wood is more likely to flower than old, woody stems. Aim to remove about 20 to 30% of the total leaf volume. Do not go over 50% in 1 year, or you might shock the tree, but 20 to 30% is healthy. It stimulates the tree to wake up and produce fresh, energetic shoots. Let us refine the shape. After the major cuts, step back again. Does the tree look balanced? If one side is much heavier than the other, the tree might lean or break in a storm. Try to keep the weight distributed evenly. If you see a large gap on one side, you can leave a few extra branches there to fill it in over time. But generally, symmetry helps the tree stay stable. Now, look at the tips of the remaining branches. If they are very long and thin, you can tip prune them. This means cutting off the last few inches. This encourages the branch to branch out more, creating a denser framework for future fruit. However, be careful. If you tip prune too much, you might cut off the terminal bud where the flower spike will form. Since we are pruning after harvest, the tree will have time to grow new tips before the next bloom, so light tip pruning is safe. It helps create a sturdy structure that can hold heavy fruit without breaking. Think of it like training a young athlete. You want strong muscles, not just height. By tipping the branches, you are building muscle density in the tree's structure. One critical detail many people miss is the angle of the cut. When you cut a branch, do not cut it flush with the trunk. Leave a small collar, or the raised ring where the branch meets the trunk. This collar contains special cells that help the wound heal quickly. If you cut flush, you damage these cells, and the wound takes longer to close, leaving the tree open to disease. On the other hand, do not leave a long stub. A stub will die back and rot into the trunk. Find the balance. Cut just outside the branch collar. It sounds technical, but it is just a small visual cue. Look for the slight swelling at the base of the branch. Cut just beyond that. This ensures the tree heals itself naturally. Also, try to make smooth cuts. Do not saw back and forth roughly. Use sharp tools. A clean cut heals faster than a ragged tear. If you are using a saw for larger branches, use the 3-cut method to prevent the bark from tearing. First, cut underneath the branch a few inches out. Second, cut from the top further out to remove the weight. Third, make the final clean cut near the collar. This protects the tree's skin. Bark damage is like an open wound for a tree. Protect it. Now that you have finished the physical cutting, let us talk about cleanup. Do not leave the cut branches under the tree. Mango leaves and wood can harbor pests and fungal spores. Rake them up and remove them from your garden. Do not compost mango debris unless you have a very hot compost pile that kills pathogens. It is safer to bag it and trash it or burn it if local laws allow. This simple step breaks the life cycle of pests. While you are cleaning up, take a moment to inspect the trunk. Look for any signs of borers or cracks. If you see sap oozing from the trunk, it might be a sign of stress or disease. Address it now while the tree is dormant from the pruning shock. You can apply a thin layer of pruning sealant to very large cuts, though most modern arborists say it is not necessary for healthy trees. If you live in a humid area with high disease pressure, a sealant can provide an extra barrier. But for most home growers, letting the tree breathe and heal naturally is best. Just keep the area clean. Let us address the common mistakes that ruin all this hard work. The biggest mistake is pruning at the wrong time. I cannot stress this enough. If you prune in late winter or early spring, you are cutting off the flower buds. Mangoes flower on the ends of new growth. If you cut that growth off, you have no flowers. No flowers mean no fruit. You will have a beautiful leafy tree with 0 mangoes. Another common mistake is over-pruning. Some people get excited and cut everything off. They turn the tree into a stick. This shocks the tree. It responds by sending up a massive surge of weak, watery growth called water sprouts. These sprouts are not strong, they break easily, they do not fruit well. You want moderate pruning, not drastic mutilation. Respect the tree's need for leaves to make food. Another mistake is using dull tools. Dull shears crush the stem instead of cutting it. This causes tissue damage and slows healing. It also makes the job harder for you. Sharpen your tools before you start. It makes a huge difference. Also, do not ignore the lower branches. Some people only prune the top, but if the lower branches are touching the ground, they will pick up soil-borne diseases. Keep the bottom 18 to 24 inches of the trunk clear. This lifts the canopy and improves airflow from the ground up. Here is a pro tip that experienced commercial growers use, but rarely share with home gardeners. It is called skirting, combined with light manipulation. After you have pruned the tree, look at the remaining branches. If you have branches that are horizontal, they are great for fruit, but if you have branches that are growing at a steep upward angle, they are less productive. You can train these branches. Use a piece of rope or a weight to gently pull the branch down to a more horizontal position. Tie it to a stake in the ground, or a lower branch. Hold it there for a few weeks. This changes the hormone distribution in the branch. Vertical growth is driven by auxins that promote leaf growth. Horizontal positioning signals the tree to slow down vegetative growth and start reproductive growth. In simple terms, bending the branch down tells the tree, stop growing up, start making babies. This is a subtle trick, but it can significantly increase the number of flower spikes on those specific branches. Do this right after pruning, while the wood is still slightly flexible from the recent growth flush. It is a low-effort, high-reward technique. Also, consider the light direction. If you have a branch that is shaded by a fence or another tree, prune it more aggressively. The tree will redirect energy to the sunny side. Work with the sun, not against it. Another hidden insight is about the type of wood you leave behind. Not all branches are equal. Look for branches that have a rougher, darker bark. These are older, more mature branches. They are more likely to initiate flowering than smooth, green, young branches. When you are deciding which branches to keep during thinning, favor the mature wood. However, you still need some young wood to replace the old wood eventually. It is a balance. Think of it as a rotation. Keep the best of the current fruiting wood, but ensure there is enough new growth coming up to take its place in 2 or 3 years. This ensures your tree stays productive for decades, not just a few seasons. Many people forget that mango trees can live for 100 years. Your pruning today affects the tree's health 10 years from now. Build a strong foundation. Let us recap the workflow to make sure it sticks. First, timing. Prune right after harvest. Second, safety. Remove dead, broken, and crossing branches. Third, structure. Open the center to let light in. Remove the vertical water sprouts in the middle. Fourth, height. Cut back the tallest leaders to an outward-facing side branch to keep the tree manageable. Fifth, thinning. Remove parallel branches and spindly growth to improve airflow. Sixth, cleanup. Remove all debris to prevent disease. And finally, the pro tip. Train upward branches to a horizontal position to boost flowering. This sequence is logical. It moves from the big picture to the details. It ensures you do not miss anything important. You do not need to be an expert botanist to do this. You just need to observe the tree and follow these simple rules. Nature wants to grow. You are just guiding that growth in a direction that benefits you. You might be wondering, what if I make a mistake? Here is the good news. Mango trees are incredibly resilient. They can handle a lot of abuse. If you cut too much, the tree will grow back. If you cut too little, you can always prune more next year. The worst thing you can do is do nothing. An unpruned tree will eventually become unmanageable and unproductive. So, do not be afraid. Start small. If you are nervous, prune less this year and see how the tree responds. Then, be more aggressive next year. Watch how the tree reacts. Does it send up strong new shoots? Do the leaves look healthier? Is there more sunlight on the ground under the tree? These are signs you are doing it right. Gardening is a conversation with your plant. You speak with your shears, and the tree speaks with its growth. Listen to it. Remember, the goal is maximum yield. Yield means more fruit, bigger fruit, and better quality fruit. By opening the canopy, you are increasing the photosynthesis efficiency of every remaining leaf. More sun means more sugar. More air means less disease. Less height means easier harvest. It is a win-win-win situation. You are not just cutting branches, you are investing in the future productivity of your garden. Imagine walking out next summer and seeing branches heavy with fruit, easy to reach, easy to pick, and free from rot. That is the result of this work. It takes a few hours of labor once a year, but the payoff lasts all season. I want you to take action this weekend. Go out to your mango tree, bring your pruners, look at it with new eyes, see the potential. Do not see a mess, see a structure waiting to be refined. Start with the dead wood, then open the center. Take your time, enjoy the process. There is something deeply satisfying about shaping a living thing. It connects you to the land in a way that buying fruit from the store never can. And when you bite into that first homegrown mango, juicy and sweet, you will know it was worth every cut. If you found this guide helpful, please give this video a thumbs up. It helps other gardeners find this information. And if you have questions, drop them in the comments below. I read every comment, and I love hearing about your progress. Tell me what variety of mango you are growing. Are you dealing with a specific problem? Let us solve it together. Do not forget to subscribe for more deep dives into tropical gardening. We have videos coming up on fertilization schedules, pest control without chemicals, and how to graft your own mango varieties. You do not want to miss those. Thanks for watching and happy growing.